You're probably wondering why in the world do you just hear my voice and not see a video? Well, there are several reasons behind that. One of them being I am currently working from home, so I'm talking to you from my desk here at work. And the other reason will become apparent as I update you. I didn't write an outline because anytime I've ever written an outline to know exactly what to say, I've ended up just pitching it and not following it. And I wanted to come to you and film from my heart and just chat with you. As you know, NaNoWrimo is just around the corner, and it starts on November 1st of every year. And most years, I am really excited about it. There have only been a handful of times when I've begrudgingly joined it. And I say begrudgingly because I wanted to, but then I didn't. And those were months that I really struggled, and I probably should have listened to my gut and just not joined, because just because everyone is doing it in the writing world doesn't mean that I necessarily need to do it. And that is something that I am learning. But this year, I actually am looking forward to NaNoWrimo. And I don't know if it's because just everything has just been so weird this year. I don't know if it's because of that, or I don't know. But the truth of the matter is I wanted to write something from beginning to end this year for NaNoWrimo, but the one issue that I'm having is that all of the ideas that I do have just they're not vibing well with me. And if you're a writer, then you know exactly what that means. You're not going to really get into it. So here I am with this desire to write for NaNoWrimo on one hand, and then on the other hand, I have no earthly clue what I am going to write. So it is now October 22nd, and guess what? Your girl does not know what she's writing about, but hopefully by October the 31st, Halloween night, I will be inspired to some degree, and I will know on November 1st exactly what will be on the written page. If not, I am just going to sit down and start writing, because some of my best writing has been when I am flying by the seat of my pants. So I did want to mention NaNoWrimo because it is the season for that. But back to why I haven't really posted. As you all know and have lived, 2020 has been very odd. Actually, when 2019 was leaving, I was at a wedding for a cousin of mine who was getting married on New Year's Eve. And it was really nice. I got to spend time with family and just chill. But as the year was ringing in, there were talks about how the borders were being closed. I really didn't pay it any mind, because the only thing that I could think about for 2020 was that this was the year that I would turn the big 40. Yes, you heard that right. And for those of you who are older and think that I am just a baby, well, congratulations. In my world, I am not a baby. And for those of you who are young and are thinking, oh my God, why is this old person making a video? Just wait till you get here. So when 2020 rang in, tears were running down my face as I thought, oh my God, I am going to turn 40 this year. And even though my birthday is not until November, I still have been thinking about that the entire year. And also, as this year rang in, I was really, really looking forward to the wedding of my younger brother. He was marrying his best friend, and that would be down in Texas. And when all of this began to outbreak, with this pandemic and everything was starting to shut down, I was panicked because all I could think about was how they were going to close down the borders of our states, and there was no way I was going to be able to be there to witness my brother, say his vows to his future bride. And I knew they were still going to get married, but they felt so far away. And yes, Texas is far from where I live to begin with, but it just felt so like it wasn't going to happen. And we held our breath and we held our breath. And finally, I think it was the end of May, we finally just went for it and purchased our plane tickets and found our Airbnb, and we ended up going. That was the time and the highlight of my year, let me tell you. Being in Texas felt surreal. He had lived there for, I believe it was possibly a little over 5 years. Had seen him over the years because he was in college. He got out for over a month, and I looked forward to every single year, about a week and a half to 2 weeks before Christmas when he would fly down. And let me tell you, it felt surreal to actually be in his neck of the woods because, just to feel the heat that he had talked about. But I think what struck me the most, that stood out to me about being in Texas was, we went down there in August and everything was dead. Let me tell you, the trees were dead, the grass was dead. I mean, there was no greenery. I remember as our plane was slowly losing altitude, and getting ready to land eventually, I looked out my window, and usually when you're flying above where I am from, you see green. Okay, and lakes and swimming pools. And out here, I just saw fields and fields of dead grass and brown. And I thought, good night, everything's dead. And he said, of course, Liz, because, the temperature's the high heat. But anyways, that was the highlight of my year. And then after that, it just seemed that, I think 2020 was just, there really was nothing else to look forward to. And I have felt myself off and on this year sinking into a sort of depression. And that has been something that I have dealt with my entire life, let me tell you. So I know the signs. I know, exactly what it feels like. And I know what to look for, and I could feel myself sinking into that. A lot of just, I don't know how to describe it. My company had decided that they were not going to renew their lease on our building, and we are permanently working from home. Now, I am an introvert, so that just sounded really, really good to me, I don't mind not seeing people every day, but I am not so much of an introvert that I am a hermit. I think that, I still thrive on being around people and talking to people every once in a while. I do have those days where, I can't be bothered. Like I really have nothing to say. I could feel myself starting to sink into this depression, and I fought it with everything in me because, I just have memories of being in depression in the past, and it's just not it's not fun. And it affects the people around me. And I have 2 teenagers, and, that can affect them as well. So I have fought that. And so between that and then, the wedding's over, and then 2020 is weird. And just working through some things in my personal life, one of which being is just rooting out and getting rid of the toxicity in my life. I know if you have followed me and listened to videos from the past, then you know that there were people in my life who brought a great deal of toxicity with them. And I just needed to get away. I needed to break away from that. And one day I'm going to share more of my personal story so you can see the backstory behind this. But I am an empath, and empaths tend to, if they are not aware, if they are not, if their eyes aren't open, if they have not learned, they tend to draw in people who are narcissistic in behavior. And so I decided once and for all that I needed to break free from those types of human beings. While they are broken themselves and I am no better than them, they were bringing a great deal of hostility, toxicity, and just self-doubt, and make you begin to doubt who you are as a person. And I began to doubt who I was as a person, and I can just go on and on and on about that. But that took up a big chunk of my life. I had to get away from that. It has been a journey, and when I'm ready to actually go into more detail, I will. But the one thing that I love about 2020 is that I am finding the longer I am away from said toxicity, and the longer I surround myself with healthy people, with healthy individuals, the more layers are beginning to fall away, and the more the walls are beginning to fall and crumble. And I'm just incredibly grateful for the experiences that I have had, even though they were toxic, even though they were, life-shattering. They have brought me to where I am today, and I'm grateful because I'm able to actually see the real me now, and I'm able to actually understand who I really am, and to know and be confident in that. But yeah, that's what's been going on in my life, and I just wanted to update you with that. So without further ado, I hope that you are well. I hope that you are blessed and that you have peace in your life. And let me know in the comments if you're doing NaNoWrimo and what you plan on writing. If you want to keep it a secret, just tell me what genre. I would like to connect with those of you who are doing that on the NaNoWrimo site. So like I say to my writers each and every week, keep on writing.